What if the Jedi executed Order 6? That is our story for today. I always enjoy these ones where the Jedi end up executing the Order, so hope you guys enjoy as well. And Order 6, what is it? Well, it instructs all clone troopers to immediately discard of their communicators. How would that play a role in all of this? Well, let's find out. Our story begins in Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Temple quarters, just a couple days after the death of Clone Trooper Fives. The whole ordeal with Fives really shook Anakin Skywalker to his core. Fives was a great man. This whole ordeal was terrible, and something happened on Ringo Vinda and Kamino. Anakin recalled Clone Trooper Tup repeating, "Good soldiers follow orders," trying to kill the Jedi. It was as if a switch were flipped in his brain. The virus, or whatever infected him, also got to Fives, and the ARC Trooper became convinced of some grand plot to kill the Jedi, a plot involving Chancellor Palpatine himself. Before Fives could say anything more, Commander Fox shot him through the heart, and Fives died in Rex's arms. Anakin continued tossing and turning in his bed, wishing he could have done more. Was Fives truly insane, or did he know something that went deep into a Republic conspiracy? Anakin would usually spend these nights with Padme, but tonight he just had to be alone. He had to think. He needed help from someone who would be willing to take a risk, so long as it was to protect the Republic. He needed someone who loved the Republic more than anything. And Anakin sat up, shaking his head. He needs Mace Windu. Across the temple rooms, Mace Windu also laid awake, contemplating the war. Every day that this war continued, trillions of people continued suffering. And for what? Windu could recognize that the Separatists did have issues with the Republic. So did he. And maybe if the Separatists came at this peacefully, then there could be real discussions for change. But Dooku of the Separatists and Palpatine of the Republic were both continuously going too far. It was as if they wanted to prolong the war, and Windu hated it. As the Jedi Master stared at the ceiling, he felt a sudden presence at the door, and before Anakin could even knock, Windu told him to enter, so Anakin did, bowing to Windu, saying he has something on his mind. Windu sat up, asking if it was the clone that got the disease from Ringo Vinda. Anakin said yes, it was Fives, and Anakin went on to tell Windu exactly what Fives said while trying to run away on Coruscant. When he captured Anakin and Rex in the Ray Shield, Fives was going on and on about a plot to destroy the Jedi. Palpatine was in on all of it, and both Anakin and Windu were 99% sure that Fives was infected with some sort of virus. But the more that the two of them discussed the incident, the more they feared the 1% possibility that the clones did have some purpose that the Jedi were not yet aware of. Soon the two of them were up, walking through the temple together, when Windu asked what the Kaminoans thought about all of this. And so the Jedi decided to plug into a terminal, entering Fives' clone number to get all reports on his death. They turned on the reports, and Nala Se began saying that CT-5555 experienced a malfunction in his inhibitor chip, and that the Senate and Jedi Council accepted these findings. This was just more of the same information, but then Nala Se said that a grievance report was filed by CT-7567. Anakin blurted out that this was Rex, and so now the two Jedi listened to the report made by Rex barely a day ago. Rex began by saying he knows this report will fall on deaf ears, but he owes it to Fives to record what he saw. Rex said he isn't sure he believes it himself, but there's a possibility that the inhibitor chips from the Kaminoans have a purpose that no one yet understands. Windu asked Anakin where Rex is now, and Anakin said that he should still be on Kamino, waiting for the next assignment for him and his men. And Windu said that the two of them are going to go to Kamino on a mission that will stay off the record. If Rex is willing, then they should explore his inhibitor chip, see if they are missing something. Anakin agreed, saying that he imagines Rex is not having an easy time of things after losing Fives, and the two of them would take off for Kamino without alerting the rest of the council. Windu typically would not be one to do this, but he realized how important for the safety of the Republic this mission could be, and so he went with Anakin on this reckless mission. On Kamino, Rex was going through his usual daily tasks, helping his men prepare for whatever comes next, when Anakin and Windu came to him, asking him about the grievance report that he filed on Fives. Rex was shocked by this, but he sat down with the Jedi, saying he does truly believe that the chips are more of a hindrance than a helper for the clones. And Windu asked Rex if he would be willing to remove his chip for some testing. Rex was surprised to see Windu ask this, but he said yes, and the three of them moved to the medical bay. The AZ droid in here was quickly reprogrammed by Anakin, and the surgery would go quick. though everyone was very nervous. Rex soon would wake up completely fine, saying he felt great, and Windu would thank Rex as he and Anakin went back to Coruscant in order to truly study these chips. As they eventually made their way back into the temple, lucky enough that no one really noticed their disappearance for around 24 hours, Windu and Anakin took the chip into the analysis rooms, plugging it into one of the computers for the droids to dive into. After many long minutes, the droids would report that this chip contains more information than any brain should be able to handle, and a slight malfunction or activation could completely transform a clone. Anakin asked what the droid meant by activation, and the droid said that the chip has 150 contingency orders built into it for security purposes. Windu asked the droid to decode what these orders are, and the droid began to do so, but as the decoding began, the droids informed the Jedi that it was only able to decode the first 10 orders before the chip malfunctioned and shut down, almost like a self-destruct protocol. Windu sat back in his seat, very concerned, but he did find some relief. If there were 150 orders, then perhaps this was just a security measure to keep the clones in line. Nonetheless, Windu requested a list of these 10 decoded orders, then asked who was allowed to activate them. The droid said it appears only the Chancellor and his second-in-command, and so Windu asked who the second-in-command was, but that spot was still open, as if Palpatine were waiting for someone to take that spot. Curious, but having 150 orders was not that large of a concern. Before Windu and Anakin could continue investigating, Anakin was called into battle, and the two of them would depart today with a new level of trust for each other. Windu and Anakin never really got along, but the war brought them closer than ever today, and that trust was something that would be needed going forward. And now we fast forward nearly a year. Anakin has spent the last 9 months in the Outer Rim sieges with Obi-Wan Kenobi, but now he's returned to Coruscant, and after days of tormenting nightmares about Padme dying, he has found the only potential answer: the dark side of the Force. Palpatine has just revealed the terrible truth to Anakin. He is the Sith Lord they've been looking for, and Anakin was now landing in the Jedi Temple hangar and finding Windu, Fisto, Kolar, and Tin about to go confront Palpatine. Windu asked Anakin what was wrong, and Anakin would tell him everything. Time stood still as Windu processed what Anakin just told him, and Windu began to realize they were so close to realizing this with the investigation into the inhibitor chips, but the war got in the way. Anakin was sent into the Outer Rim, while Windu was focusing on a lot of the politics of war and the Jedi. But now, as Anakin told him that Palpatine was the Sith Lord, Windu came to a realization. Palpatine is in control of the 150 orders that they found, and as the analysis droid said, if these orders are activated, it can transform the clones. Windu has sensed a plot to destroy the Jedi for a while now, but Palpatine has not won yet. He guided Anakin over to a datapad, and Windu logged into his own personal data, where he did record the 10 decoded orders. One of them stuck out more than the others: Order 6. When received, all clone troopers will immediately discard of their comlinks no matter what. Windu said this should be activated immediately, so when Palpatine is confronted, he cannot call to the clone troopers for help. Anakin agreed, but said it can only be activated by Palpatine, or whoever is second in command. And Windu would tell Anakin that, as Palpatine's personal representative, he is now second in command. That's who Palpatine was waiting for. That's why Anakin was revealed the truth by Palpatine. He can activate this order. And Anakin realized he was right, so Windu told Anakin to do this while he takes the Jedi to Palpatine's office to arrest him. Anakin desperately wanted to go with the Jedi, but if nothing else, he was happy to have an assignment to do while the Jedi went to Palpatine. Had he been assigned to just go wait for the Jedi to return, the stress of waiting would have eaten him alive. So as Anakin watched the Jedi take off, he ran to the communications room, plugging into the communicator for all of the clones across the galaxy, speaking to all of them at once. Anakin told them to execute Order 6. Palpatine did not anticipate this at all. He didn't know that Anakin had any idea about the orders, so he was not worried about him having control of the clones. This was more so the clones would not be executing Anakin once Order 66 was activated, but giving Anakin control would be his downfall. And across the galaxy, the clones suddenly went completely dark with their communicators, either throwing them away or destroying them, as ordered by Anakin. This would cause battles to immediately swing toward the Separatist side, as the clones and Jedi in battle could not communicate with each other. Anakin would adjust to this by sending a message to all of the Jedi, telling them of what he has done, to regroup or retreat if necessary. On Cato Nemoidia, Felucia, Megiddo, other key planets with battles going on, the clones and Jedi in battle would regroup in a temporary retreat, while Mace Windu led the Jedi into Palpatine's office. Initially, Palpatine could feel Anakin in the Force. He was surrounded by pain, suffering, turmoil. It was almost certain he would turn to the dark side. But something has changed. Palpatine could still feel Anakin in the Force, but now he felt determined and strong. So Palpatine closed his eyes, trying to connect with Anakin through the Force, telling him that Padme will die if he does not save him. And Palpatine knew that if Anakin does not come to him, then he will need to kill the Jedi, execute Order 66, and hope Anakin still joins him soon. So as Windu, Kolar, Tin, and Fisto entered the room, Palpatine didn't even wait for them to settle in. As the door opened, Palpatine spun through the air, immediately igniting his red blade, quickly cutting through the unsuspecting Fisto, Tin, and Kolar, while Windu was able to block but was thrown backwards. As Mace stumbled back to his feet, he couldn't believe what he just saw. Not only was Palpatine a Sith, he was beyond powerful. The Jedi were not ready. He didn't have them ready. Windu knew he failed, and now he would have to kill Palpatine alone. The Sith smiled as he darted into the room, slamming his lightsaber down on Windu as the real duel began. As Anakin sat down in the communications room, he could hear Palpatine's call for help through the Force. Anakin could see now that Palpatine has been planning this for years with the clones. He very likely had an order to execute the Jedi, but that was no longer a possibility. Instead, he was now battling the Jedi. Anakin knew he should stay here, wait in the temple, but the dark shadow still did tug at him, telling him that he was killing Padme by just staying here. Anakin decided that he must go. He wasn't sure what he was going to do yet, but he could not just sit here, as the fate of the galaxy was shifting. Back in Palpatine's office, the Sith Lords spun around Windu, and they moved through the hall, striking their purple and red blades against each other time and time again. Palpatine could not tell if Anakin was coming, so he knew he must get to his communicator, and then he can execute Order 66 immediately. If the clones get up here and see Windu attacking him, then he will certainly win this battle. So Palpatine blocked a strike from Mace, threw a statue from the wall to distract him, then flipped backwards to his communicator. Palpatine tried to quickly contact Fox and the Coruscant Guard, but he got nothing back, except for static. He quickly tried Oppo in the 501st, but again, no response. Windu entered the room now, saying that his trust in Skywalker was misplaced, and it will be his downfall. Palpatine scowled as Windu said they knew all about the inhibitor chips. They've used Order 6 to make sure Palpatine will not be calling for any help today. And now Windu felt a new shift in the Force, anger like never before. Palpatine was calling upon the deepest reserves of his strength, anger, power, and the dark side, as he blasted lightning at Windu, then ran in, once more clashing blades with the Jedi. Years of hidden fury were being used in this moment, and Windu tried once again sinking into Vapad to counter this, but Palpatine was too quick this time. He was ready, and as the two of them got to the window, Palpatine was able to cut away Mace's saber, then kick the Jedi Master to the ground. Palpatine smiled as Mace fell, then blasted heavy waves of lightning at Windu. Luckily, Mace put up his hands just in time, using the Force to redirect the lightning out of the window, or around the office, as it crashed into furniture, walls, statues, creating fires around the room, as now Anakin entered to see this happening. And as Anakin entered, he took in the scene. Mace Windu was suffering, helpless under the constant waves of lightning from the Sith, and Mace's strength wore out, as now the lightning hit him square in the chest. Anakin was seeing Palpatine for who he truly was, an evil Sith trying to take control of the galaxy. His lies to save Padme could not be true, and the lightning stopped as Windu was defeated, barely breathing, as Palpatine looked to Anakin, telling the boy he had no choice. The Jedi attacked him. Mace looked to Anakin, barely getting any words out, but he managed to tell Anakin that he did well. Palpatine tried to contact the clones, and Palpatine said he had no choice. The Jedi are treasonous. The Sith Lord lifted his red blade, telling Anakin that this will mark the end of the Jedi and the start of the new era. Windu looked to Anakin, and Anakin saw the look of trust in his eyes, the belief in him. And so, as Palpatine swung down to kill Windu, Anakin swung up with his own saber, cutting through Palpatine's arm. The red saber dropped to the floor. Windu used his remaining strength grabbing Palpatine's saber, plunging it into the Sith Lord's chest. The Sith Lord gasped in complete shock. He couldn't believe Anakin betrayed him, and his body fell out of the window, sliding down to the ground to be forgotten. Windu fell to his knees, as Anakin was now carrying him out, and before he passed out, Windu told Anakin he has done well, calling him Master Anakin Skywalker. Around a day later, Anakin and Padme were speaking to the Senate, and Anakin had the trust of the people after Palpatine had appointed him as his personal representative. Anakin detailed everything. Rex was here as well to testify about the inhibitor chips and how without Anakin's order, they all would have executed the Jedi without hesitation because of these chips. The Senate would now learn that Palpatine was planning this power grab for decades, and the process of a new election would begin. Windu would survive his burns, and he would help officially make Anakin a master. Upon receiving this rank, Anakin would spend many hours in the restricted section. Both Yoda and Windu would notice this, then advise Kenobi to help Anakin with his troubles, and so he would. While around the galaxy, the final battles of war were wrapping up after the Separatist leaders were arrested on Mustafar. Ahsoka safely returned Maul to the temple, and he was frozen in carbonite to serve his lifelong sentence. With the war over, the Republic would reform under Chancellor Bail Organa to be a better Republic, seeking out corruption, and the clones would all be given pensions or get to stay as Republic security. And within weeks, Padme would give a safe birth to twins, while Anakin and Obi-Wan watched nervously. After Palpatine died, a lot of the dark feelings that surrounded Anakin seemed to die as well, and so this was not too bad for Anakin to handle. When Padme would ultimately survive, it was the happiest moment of their life together. Over the years, Master Anakin Skywalker would keep his council seat and eventually welcome the young Luke and Leia Skywalker into the Order. They were younglings, but they were initially very, very strong, and Ahsoka would come back to the Order as well, helping guide these children. And when they were ready, Leia would be trained by Obi-Wan, while Luke was actually trained by Caleb Doom. Ahsoka chose not to take either of them on, as she was back and forth between the Order very, very much. Anakin and Padme would watch happily from a distance, while the Republic and Jedi Order worked together. And folks, that is the end of this story. Order 6 is just something, I keep wanting to say Order 66. Order 6 is one that I found, and I thought this could be a fun story, so I did enjoy it. I wish there were a list of the, all 150 orders. Maybe I'll just make some up, but no. I always enjoy these videos. I think this is my third one like this. I've done Order 99, where all the droids turn on the Separatists. I've done Order 65, which the clones can actually turn on Palpatine. I think they're two of my more popular ones, so you can go check those out if you want. But yeah, absolutely enjoyed this one as well. It's a simple one, clones just throw away their communicators. But it's a very important one, as Palpatine, everything shifts as soon as Anakin, isn't being sent by Palpatine to come help him, tries to do Order 66, doesn't work, chaos ensues, so that's what we did here. Hope you enjoyed it overall. Could have done, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it, but maybe could have done more initially with Windu and Anakin finding out about the chips, but ultimately I wanted it to play out like this, so having them discover the chips through 5s, and then kind of skipping around with the war just distracting them from the discovery until Mace Windu is faced with the reality that Palpatine is a Sith, and then has to kind of make the decision, or just come to the realization of what he should have realized much earlier. I thought that was the fun path to take. Overall, enjoyed this video, hope you did as well. Once again, thanks for 60,000 subscribers, that's pretty nuts. Thanks. Lightsaber giveaway is coming up right now. Alright, so we had 846 entries for the 60k lightsaber giveaway. Quick shout out, thanks again for 60,000, super cool. I'm excited to keep growing with you guys, so I appreciate it. But let's reveal who the winner is with a quick spin. The winner is number 187, and that is... The winner is Grand Admiral Justin. I've got all your email information, got your name on here. Of course, won't be sharing it on the screen, but we will be in contact with anasaber very shortly. So shout out to the winner. Thanks everyone for entering. We'll be doing another at 70k, and I'll see you in the next video.